Okay, so our first type of cornbread that we're going to make today is that traditional cornbread in the skillet, in the iron skillet. So this is your iron skillet that we're going to be using, and you have to heat your oil up in this skillet. But we're going to prepare the cornbread meal mix first, and then we're going to heat up the oil. Okay, so we have our 2 cups of buttermilk cornmeal mix. We're going to put 2 tablespoons of sugar, and we're going to whisk. If you don't have a whisk, just get a fork. We're going to whisk 1 egg real quick, like that. And pour that in. Now, you're going to add your milk. Now, this is about 2 cups of buttermilk, but if you need more, you can add more. If you need less, add less. You want this to look kind of like a smooth pancake consistency batter. And you don't need a mixer, hand mixer or anything. I mean, it'd be great to use, but you don't need it. Mix this in there really good. Okay, now that our oil is good and hot, we're going to pour it into our batter. That sizzle is what you want to hear. I'm going to put this back on my stove because we're going to actually bake this in the same. See how this already cooking the cornbread? Alright, so you're going to just mix that in. Make sure when you're making this skillet bread that you put it in a bowl that can take hot things. So naturally do not use plastic. Glass or metal, aluminum will do. Alright, now we're going to pour this batter into our skillet. And we're going to bake this in our oven on 400 for 30 to 35 minutes, depending on your oven. All right. I'm going to set that for 35 minutes. I'm going to do 30 minutes. And I'll check on it in 30 minutes. See if it's brown. You want to get golden brown. Okay, while our cornbread is baking in the oven, the skillet bread, we're going to go and move on to making our second type of bread, which would be the cornbread muffins. So I'm going to make 2 sizes. I'm going to make one size. This is your regular cornbread muffin pan that most people use that you see at restaurants. But I personally like to use the mini because I like to get things in that like bite size. So we're going to go ahead and spray these 2 with your canola oil spray. Spray these muffins. Spray these pans. Always spray before you put your cornbread batter in there. So I'll just go ahead and spray it now so I won't forget. Alright, once that's sprayed, you can let that sit there while we get the batter together. Now you're going to need, again, 2 cups of cornmeal, buttermilk cornmeal mix. Gonna put that in there. The difference between the cornbread and the corn muffin is you're going to use 2 tablespoons of sugar and 2 tablespoons of flour. It just adds a little bit of flour in that one. Alright, so it's pretty much the same, and there's an extra egg also. Let me just kind of whisk the egg a little bit. Should have whisked it before, but okay. And once again, we're going to add our milk. See, basically it's the same way. It just has a little bit of flour added to the batter, to the mix. But it's basically the same. Gonna mix that up. And this is also buttermilk. I like buttermilk. You can use any milk, but I just like buttermilk. And once again, you do not need a mixer. You can do it by hand. Stir that in. Now, again, you're going to heat your oil. So I got another little skillet here that I'm going to heat my oil in. Okay, our oil is heated up, and then you're going to carefully pour this into your batter. Once again, you're going to stir that in. Your muffin mix. And remember, basically the difference between the muffin, cornbread, it's extra egg and a little bit of flour. Now, what I also like to do is just to take a measuring bowl, measuring cup that has the spout to it, to make it easier to pour into our muffin pan. I'm going to pour my batter in here. Okay, and you want to pour this like 3/4 of the way. I'm going to do half of them here, and let's see. Let's do some here too, if you want the bigger muffins. Mix it in here. Some more of the smaller muffins in here. We're going to put this in the oven again. With these muffin pans, I would do 15 minutes at a time. Check on it every 15 minutes. First 15 minutes, you're going to bake on 400 again. But check on it every 15 minutes, since it's a smaller pan than a regular skillet type pan. They may cook a little faster. Alright, we're going to get these in the oven as soon as our first skillet bread, cornbread, is completed baking. As you see, the bell is ringing, or the timer is going off, and our cornbread is ready to come out of the oven. So, this is our skillet bread. Set up here, you want it to be golden brown. And at this point, this is where I like to put my melted butter. So, I'm going to pour just a little bit of melted butter. And then I'm going to let that sit and cool. So while our muffins are baking in the oven, we're going to start mixing the hoe cake. Now the hoe cake is a little different. It has 1 part cornmeal mix and 1 part bread flour. So I'll put like a cup of cornmeal mix and a cup of bread flour. Same thing, add your sugar. And it's going to use 2 eggs. I'm going to slightly beat these 2 eggs. Now the difference between a whole cake and muffins and cornbread, these kind of have a pancake consistency. They're flat like pancakes. So I'm going to add the milk, same way. But you want to make this look like pancake dough. So you may have to add more milk. And it looks like I'm going to be needing to add more milk. So let me get more milk. I'm going to add more milk. And this again is buttermilk that I'm using. But I want this time, let me use my spoon to better stir this up. And you want it to come out like a pancake mixture. A little bit more. So I would say probably 2.5 cups of buttermilk. Now I use bread flour and I use cornmeal mix. But if you have just regular, like yellow cornmeal and regular plain all-purpose flours, you have to add some baking powder to your batter. The cornmeal mix and bread flour usually already have the baking powder already in it. All right, this is like a pancake batter. Now, we're going to get our oil hot. And we're going to cook this just like pancake batter. Like you're cooking pancakes. Now, I think I'm going to add this. That was about 1/2 cup of oil. But I'm going to add more oil to it. So like I said, now at this point, you're cooking like pancakes. Okay, now that we have our whole cake batter ready, the grease is hot. Once it gets hot, I want you to turn it down to like a medium heat because you don't really want it to cook too fast. Now I'm using an ice cream scoop to measure out my portions, just for portion measuring, because I want it to all come out kind of the same size. So you're gonna pour it in there. And remember, this is like pancake batter. It's a little different. And I didn't want mine to get out too big. Do 2 at a time. So you want it to get brown around the edges as it's cooking. It's going to bubble up in the middle just like pancakes do. Alright, so you want it to be brown. And the consistency on the other side looks like that when it's ready. And you want to put it in I use foil and paper towel. Put it in there. Like I said, you want to keep that heat on like a medium heat because you don't want to burn this whole cake. They easily burn. But if you keep it on medium heat, you'll be okay. And now, that's your whole cake. Now I'm going to continue to finish making these whole cakes. And after I finish these, we will make our last example, which will be the hot water cornbread. Alright, so our muffins are ready. They're golden brown, as you can tell. I'm taking them out of the oven. I want them to be golden brown. And at this point, again, you want to pour a little, brush a little butter on them. So the butter can soak in to the melted butter. And I'm going to let these cool, and then I'm going to pop them out. Let them cool for at least 10 minutes, and then you can take them out. So while these are cooling for 10 minutes, we're going to let you have a message from our featured artist about this apron.
Hello, YouTube viewers, and thank you once again for visiting the Sally Gooden Cooking Channel. I'm James Threalkill, and I'm happy to feature another apron during this particular edition. For this edition, I have a beautiful woman on the cover of the apron with the caption, "Classy Lady Chef." And so we're excited about this particular video and the delicious recipe that's being featured. And we look forward to having other artists join us as well in providing aprons for Wanda to use while she's displaying her different recipes. So again, thank you for subscribing to the channel, hitting the thumbs up button and the notification button. And we wish you well going forward.
So our last example of cornmeal type of cornbread is going to be the hot water cornbread. And the difference with this one is there's no milk involved. It's just exactly what I said, hot water. So we have 2 cups of the cornmeal mix, and I'm going to make mine a little bit sweet. So I'm doing 3 teaspoons instead of 3 tablespoons instead of 2 tablespoons. And I'm going to, now at this point, you're going to add your hot water. I'm going to start off, pretty much you're going to have to add it till it looks like grits. I don't know how much water that would take, so we're going to pour the hot water and stir it at the same time. And you want your cornmeal to start looking like some grits. So let's get the hot water. So I have my hot water here, and remember, we're going to just pour it a little at a time until this starts to look like grits. Stir a little bit. And as you see, really the hot water is basically cooking the meal. A bit more. That's a grit consistency. Now, once you get to this consistency, you want to take your oil and heat it up. And I have some oil heating in here. Now you're only going to need a little of this, or half the oil you're going to put into your batter. The other half you're going to leave in your hot pan because you're going to cook it from there. Alright, we're going to pour some of the oil. You want to bubble up. There you go. Pouring some of that oil in there, and then I'm going to mix that up. Turn your heat down. You turn it down to like a medium. And let's mix this up. And then I'm going to show you, you're going to need a bowl of ice water. Bowl of ice and water. And it'll show you how to make the patties. Make these hot water cornbread patties. Ice and water. You're going to put ice and water in here. And the reason you do that is a technique in patting out the hot water cornbread, because of course you know it's hot. So your grease is on medium. Dip your hand in the water and then take a spoonful, and you want to make this patty motion, and you're going to put them in the grease. Dip your hand in the water and make the patty. Pat it out. You can go ahead And that's how you get your patties. Now I'm going to cook those to their brown on each side. Golden brown. You want your heat medium high. You don't want it all the way high or just too low. Medium high. All right. Cornbread, as you can see, is brown in the edges, around the edges, so that means that it's ready to be flipped over.